here waiting. There's going to be an event here. I love one of these events because they always have good cookies, and the coffee is really good for the Native American exhibit here. I had a cup. I'd get some because they don't have the cups. The coffee's all there, and it's good coffee. But I've been reading this book here, and it gives the recommendation that if someone wants to follow the history of video games, the first being in '62, Space War, they give the recommendation that computer space, which was founded by the Atari people, would be the next logical step into make sure I have it on to the people. Nolan Bush now in '71, classic of Russell Spaceware. And if you want to learn more about the early history of gaming, then this is where you should read next. I read next, and then it said after that it's Pong, which is where we all know Atari from, I believe, as well as it was originally on another system, the Magnavox. Odyssey was the first ever home computer console. The Odyssey was in particular business due to the overpricing, but then with its bat and ball game, also named now paintball, appeared on the coin-op machine and amusement arcades. Magnavox sued the company, then released Pong at its arcade. Was a newly formed Atari founder had learned from his experience with computer space and was banking on Pong to break the fledgling market. The following legal suit was settled with Atari paying Magnavox a one-off license fee for the gaming rights. When Pong exceeded everyone's wildest expectations, Atari's rise to power had begun. And it said also, for the most part, many of them were uneventful, other than Breakout. Truly noteworthy. I should probably go to that one next to read this course, not being entirely the whole history of these things, but there was something I wanted to read. I think I wanted to read about pole position, or the Playboy the Mansion for the PlayStation 2. But I think I want to read about pole position because I kind of enjoyed that game, and I have it on the page because it's the same page that Pong was on. But this video games guide, 1,000 plus console and computer games from 1962 to 2012, is very interesting, and they show some pictures of first picture being of Space War. Very revolutionary game, and interestingly enough, that's I think the updated version where they had a bigger, fatter one and a more stick-like one. And then Pong 72, Breakout 76. And I loved Combat. I love that one. Space Invaders being a very influential game. We loved that one. And then Asteroids was quite revolutionary at the time, and I loved that game. And Gallica, wasn't very fond of that, but Defender, I loved Defender. And Tempest was cool. I wasn't really into Pac-Man. Donkey Kong, not really as much, although I did enjoy Donkey Kong. The Hobbit, I never got into that thing. And Attack, that does not seem familiar, but I think I remember having friends that were really into that. I liked Mario Brothers, although Star Wars I would have gotten into, but I think it needed a console I couldn't afford. Marble Madness, that looks very cool. But 1942 I think I liked, and I think I played it on the old Atari system. Commando, I played that as a arcade game, or 1942 I played as an arcade game. What I really liked was this game called Zaxxon, and you don't see it here. Super Mario Brothers, I enjoyed that on the NES system. I think you almost got that with it. Probably not. Tetris 95, I never played the Tetris 85 version. It came out a couple years later here in the United States, I believe. It was a game that was created in the Soviet Union. Carrier Command, that looks interesting. I don't think I ever played that one. My friends had lots of these games. And Golden Age. John Madden, early football game. I think they've still got his computer games out there, even though he's retired from football. Star Central, Ring Commander, Civilization, Sonic the Hedgehog, Street Fighter. Now that was like cool graphics that were kind of like what we have now. It's funny that it's almost 20 years old. My brother, I think, had some of those computers. Doom. The other Tentacle, don't know that. Alone in the Dark. Ridge Racer. X-Wing. I think I remember Daytona. I think I may even tried it. Man and Conquer, that graphics look interesting. Worms. Not interesting. Donkey Kong Country 94. That's pretty interesting graphics. Oh, this is about the time that NES, well, Mario 64 came out. About the same time the PlayStation came out. GoldenEye, that was a really good game on the PlayStation, on the Nintendo 64, the Super Nintendo. But Gran Turismo, I love that. And that was one of the first ones that started to use the controller like this controller. Oh wait, that's not. I thought that was a regular PlayStation controller with the. Well, that is like a PlayStation controller, but it's not like regular like one. It's like an off-market one. It's a non-Sony one. I guess so they don't have to pay a royalty to Sony. But the one with the dual controllers came out about that time. Gran Turismo. The Sims. And it ends almost with a game that I have, Vice City. I'm surprised that it's in there. Vice City wasn't quite as good as the original one, although it is a slightly newer one, so I think maybe it, in some ways, I loved Call of Duty. I've had that game. I think my little brother loaned it to me. Thank you, Stevie. Half-Life. Resident Evil, never got into that, although I think I played it. Gods of War, not into that. Burnout 3, I think I might have played one. I think I wanted to play that, but I didn't ever play that game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think I want to play that one. I haven't played Fallout. Super Mario Galaxy, have not played that one, but interested in it. Grand Theft Auto 4, I believe I have that one for the PlayStation 2. The Beatles Rock Band, I don't have that, but I am interested in it. Red Dead Redemption, I think I may or may not have that. Little Big Planet, don't have that, but I'm kind of almost not, I wouldn't be interested in that. Batman, not interested in that. not interested in this. But I have L.A. Noire, and I enjoyed that. That was kind of a better version of, in my opinion, a better version of Grand Theft Auto because of the fact that Grand Theft Auto, Gran Turismo, there it is. Grand Theft Auto. This is the first Grand Theft Auto, which was not a very good game, but Grand Theft Auto Streets of LA, and Grand Theft Auto 2 or 3 or whatever, Vice City 2002, Grand Theft Auto 4. Oh well, maybe Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, whatever San Andreas. There, the duo behind the Grand Theft Auto brothers Sam and Dan have been lifetime affair with crime and stares along limelight. Silver screen can get Carter. Anyway, I loved Grand Theft Auto San Andreas mostly because I loved flying around, stealing their helicopter, flying around. You could fly in an airplane, you could steal an airplane, you could steal an airplane, which is what I loved. That's why I really just love the game. I love the game because I could play, steal an airplane, or get a helicopter, steal an airplane, fly an airplane to a forbidden zone, take basically what is like a big supersonic jet, and it would act more like a supersonic craft because it didn't handle very well, which is more like the way a real aircraft would act like. So once you got it off the ground, other than you're going to be fired upon and shot down, most certainly, you have the great thing of being able to fly around. I love the flying around part. That was like my favorite. That's why it was like my favorite game, because of the fact that I could fly around and do my little fake pretend fly aircraft missions. And that's why I loved that game. And it was a good game. San Andreas. Even if I didn't play any of the missions, or no, it was the other one. Maybe it was Vice City that you could steal the helicopter, but then they didn't have the airplanes. It was San Andreas that had the airplanes, so you could steal airplanes. You could steal everything, motorcycles, bicycles. You could steal bicycles. You could steal motorcycles. You could steal cars. You could steal helicopters. You could steal boats. You could swim in the ocean, and that actually helped you build up your muscles, and you would build up your constitution by, and it seems kind of stupid to have your video game self exercise to get strong, although that's what happens, and that's how you get to be strong. And so it's teaching some good things to people. And this is too long for me just to talk about this book and these different video game stuff, me waxing on about computers and computer games, and like talking of the this great book here in the Multnomah County Library. And I'd be able to talk in the center of this, and probably even disturbing the people in the Henry Falling's Art and Music Library and the Helen B. Kroll's Literature and History Library. But that's okay because I'm a prima donna. Prima donna, no, not diva. Anyway, so as I was saying, they're cool games, and I had a particular like and dislike I never liked athletic games because it's like I played football just a little bit in high school, and I was told I wasn't. I shared a problem with my little brother. We didn't have a killer instinct, but my little brother was a good athlete, and he was able to be useful. He did 3 sports things himself. He did football, wrestling, and did shot put. And so, good for him. And so, but myself, I was kind of the, I want to say stoner, but I wasn't a stoner in school. I was kind of more of a nerd, but I wasn't a nerd either. Probably helped the fact that I repeated first grade, so I was like, by the time I got into high school or middle school, I was larger than everyone else. And people don't really pick on you when you're bigger than them because they think, gee, this person can kick my ass. Whether or not that was the case or not, that really wasn't the case. I wasn't very coordinated, but I wasn't a violent person, so anyway. Da 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 da. Hear me talking. Anyway, I'm gonna go off. I've got some places to go and some people to see, and I'm looking at how much time I have on my battery. I'm in the yellow zone. It stays in that zone for a long time, so since I'm done talking about this book, the Video Games Guide, 1,000 plus console and computer games, 1962 to 2012, second edition. I spoke of my enjoyment of this game. The only thing I would like better if it had airplanes. I don't know if it had airplanes, but you could go to certain hidden spots that I looked up on the internet and seen that they had hidden cars. And but I'm not very good at figuring out how to do them in a certain way, so I could kept them certain spots and then been able to use them without them being damaged or something. But it was a good game, and I liked it because it was like Grand Theft Auto, but you were a good guy. Now, sliding scale good guys, and there were some ability to be a semi-bad guy, once again. There are gray areas. Cops don't like to talk about other cops and such. But regardless of all that, it's a big long distance from this email to my friend up in Washington State, talking about this movie called Rampart. Now, we all know that Jack Webb, when he made 1M12, and before that, Dragnet, on the radio as well as on television, he sort of made cops all as heroes. That was his way of looking at it, and that's not entirely true, but this movie Rampart took place in the Rampart Division, which was, ironically, in my mind, the home of where 1M12 took place. Not ironically, it's a real police station, and they set it in the Rampart Division, which apparently they had a scandal. But Woody Harrelson, I have to think that if you were a police officer and you heard that Woody Harrelson was going to play this role, you must have been in horror, knowing how that basically he had just been given that role just because of the fact that they knew, hey, like I said, he was just given that role. because they knew that he's just going to kind of play a variation of his character in Natural Born Killers, but yet being a cop. And it's like, Woody Harrelson's a great actor, but he doesn't play good guys. An anti-hero, his character's name is Date Rape. He was named Date Rape because of the fact that he apparently had murdered a date rapist. And there were various reasons for this. But he was also a drug addict and prescriptions for being hurt. But he also was into coke, it seemed, as well as a corrupt cop. The rationale for it was that the city attorney will throw you out just for political reasons, which may or may not be true, but anyway. Can't help but think if you were a police officer and you heard that Woody Harrelson was going to dramatize some story about a police station that had some questionable things going on, it's like you can just imagine exactly what would happen. It's one of these things, this book I read called High Concept. It was speaking of how it is that when they make a movie, they come up with ideas, basic, simple ideas, where, okay, like Miami Vice, MTV Cops. So, all I have to say is Woody Harrelson as LAPD cop, and you know exactly how that movie's going to be made. I enjoyed it, by the way, but still, it's one of these things where you know exactly how they're going to butcher the whatever story of the police, whether or not they're corrupt or not, has nothing to do with the fact that they're going to just butcher the story. Whether or not it's fair or not to butcher the story about Los Angeles policemen, make them seem even more corrupt than they really are. Yeah, as well as there really are corruptions, but they make these things into composites so that